champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing into this. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title.
The SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
The 1-0.
In the air, right center field. Bronx on the move. Won't get there. Tennessee walks it off.
This is a mismatch. Deep 3. Come on now. And don't connect. Probably driving this time. Indeed. New handstand. Booker. Down the middle. Got it on the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
How much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, that's college football at its absolute best.
This is college athletics at its absolute best, man, as once again, we're coming off of a Tennessee victory over Alabama. Make it 2 out of the last 3 years now, man. So we're riding high right now. I'm Michael with my co-host Skylar. Skylar, man, how we doing coming off a big victory on the 3rd Saturday of October?
Dude, another tale of 2 halves for sure.
Yes.
But gosh dang, I'm not going to complain. It's a win over Bama. It is a win over a top 10 ranked team. It is we stay undefeated on the year at home, and if I'm not mistaken, I think we're like 16-1 in the last 3 seasons here at home under Josh Heupel. Just keeping it rolling. Definitely got to enjoy. I'm not a big smoker at all, unless I'm on a golf course. But by God, I got to enjoy a cigar last night as well as my family. It was really fun, man. Obviously, we did the tailgate, the Vol Navy. If y'all have not done anything like that, I highly suggest it. I'm actually in the dungeon right now. We're like in a bedroom, but I'm actually down below the cockpit a little bit. But we're in the boat. We're trying to take it back down to Rogersville, Alabama. It's a good trip, but it's been so fun to hang out with them. But the game itself, man. All you could really ask for, once again, very, in a weird way, it felt really similar to 22. It just wasn't 50 points a team.
Yeah, but we're going to give you all of our thoughts on that game. We've got another loaded show today. But before we get into kind of the rundown, Skylar, you want to tell us who our show sponsor is?
I sure will, and it is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company, so he decided to start an agency of his own, where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today. Give him a call at 865-272-3387. Guys, whether you're, got a home, boat, auto, whatever, he's got you covered. But also if you got a business, he does business insurance as well. He can do fleet vehicles, anything you need. Chris Smith is your guy, and not just for getting you the best rate, but also for if that accident happens, who do you want on your side? And I trust Chris Smith more than most folks in that industry to help me out. So that is our presenting show sponsor. I kind of want to get to some comments because Tennessee Vol 247 was in the chat 30 minutes ago. He's been waiting on us.
Yeah, man.
And he says, we don't give a dang about the whole state of Alabama. He should have added, we're from Tennessee. Bro, go Vols. That's what I'm talking about, man. We were chanting that the entire way out of the stadium. Man, what a win.
And unfortunately, guys, I did take Facebook off of our stream thing and put it back on, hoping it would fix this problem. But as you can see,
Chastity Smith. That is Chastity. Thank you, Chastity, for watching. She's watching right now. Jeremy's also watching. We appreciate you. Jeremy also tunes in and says, go Vols. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you, big guy. That is my pops. He's watching. I think Mom just tuned in. Misty just tuned in. She's freaking on a girls trip right now in Disney. So it's pretty nice of her to find some time to tune in. But, dude, without further ado, we want to recap this game, all right? Because I know everybody wants to talk about it. It's a big game. I know Bama fans are like, "Oh, both teams suck." Like that's gonna make me enjoy it any less. Like, come on, guys. We still won. It's still the third Saturday in October. But without further ado, give us that segment one sponsor and let's talk about it.
Yes, our segment one sponsor, it is Optimal Asbestos Services, your trusted environmental consulting firm in Knoxville, Tennessee. State licensed and insured, we specialize in asbestos air quality management for commercial buildings and homes. You can contact Jeff Mull at 865-223-3297 or on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So, let's get into this Alabama game, man, because you said it. It was absolutely a tale of two halves. You can look in the box score there. Tennessee shut out again in the first half. 3 straight games where they have been shut out by halftime. That has not happened to Tennessee since 1963.
Was it 3 straight? I thought it was 2 straight because I thought they had a field goal against Arkansas.
No, they did not. No, they didn't score against Arkansas in the first half.
Dang, dude, that's crazy. We're really bad, dude.
It was Arkansas that got the field goal in the first half.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So 3 straight first halves where they have been shut out, but you do end up scoring 24 in the second half. So Tennessee comes out with the victory in this one. Initial thoughts, man. Just overall game. What are your initial thoughts on it?
Initial thoughts watching the game live. I've not been able to watch the replay, unfortunately. I plan on doing that tonight, actually. Initial thoughts, and you've got his name on the list right here. He's the very bottom guy. Gerard McCoy is the best cornerback in the nation, hands down. Hands down. He is a dog. I don't care what you say. I think he's the best cornerback that we've had since Eric Berry. I've said it 3 times this season, and I'm going to continue to back that up. I'm not sure how we landed this kid, but my God, what an addition he's been for this team. He's a dog. He plays the ball, right? And from a guy that we all know is the youngest, most talented star, probably in college football, Gerard McCoy locked him up. No explosive plays. Obviously, they did hit some passes down the field, but for the most part, man, Gerard McCoy did his thing. Really, really excited about that kid, and I think he's a first-round talent. I'm not even joking on that. And then my second take, and I've been saying this all season long, and I'm getting a lot of slack on it because the Boise State running back. But Dylan Sampson's the best back in the league, and he should absolutely be getting some Heisman hype here. He's got yet another game where he rushes 26 times, over 125 yards. He gets 139, I believe, another couple of touchdowns. Dude, he's got 17 touchdowns in 7 games.
He just tied the modern Tennessee record for touchdowns in a single season, and we've still got 5 games to go.
And he could absolutely get 25 to 30 rushing touchdowns. This kid is insane. He is the heart and soul of our offense, and I just wish that we would have fed him a little bit more. I mean, that honestly, offensively, wasn't a bad game. Just, again, had a little bit – Dylan Sampson, we do have to talk about the bad. Him fumbling that first drive was atrocious. But I'm glad that it didn't bother him for the rest of the game. That shows that he's very mature. Nico, if he makes a mistake early in the game like Florida, it bothers him quite some time. Last night, it's quite the opposite. Dylan Sampson made the mistake, and I think it made him run a little bit harder. So that's my 2 takes right away. What say you, Michael, about that big game, big second half?
So I'll go first half, second half kind of take here.
Sure.
So first half, man, Nico still looks like a freshman. I mean, he missed a lot of wide open guys.
He looks like a freshman, or did he look like Joe Milton?
Or they're kind of one and the same there, but
Okay. All right.
But no, he looked like a freshman. He was still making mistakes, missing a lot of wide open guys. One thing that just kind of overshadows that is how good the defense is playing. I mean, this team has got arguably the best defense in the conference. I mean, it's definitely top 3. I would say
still. To back that up, still hasn't allowed 20 points in a game this season. 7 games in the season.
And I'll go ahead and admit I was wrong about something. I said that Tennessee would give up 20 points for the first time this season against Alabama. You know what? All they did was go out and prove me wrong. They only gave up 17 to Alabama. I mean, what more can you ask for in that game?
I think I read somebody's stat. Don't hold me to this because it was something I read. But I think they said that the final 3 or 4 drives for Alabama, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, but they were held to like 3 total yards.
That's probably correct.
In money time, when they're trying to run their 2-minute offense, and you hold them to 3 total yards, and Will Brooks caps it with interception. So you're absolutely right. Defense played again, a baller of a game.
Yeah, but you also mentioned it. Dylan Sampson just didn't get enough touches in the first half, and was it because of the fumble? Did Josh Heupel maybe say, "Well, let's try to get the other two guys some looks"? And I do think that somebody, I think they said on the broadcast that he did kind of injure his leg at one point towards the beginning of the game. He went into the injury tent, so maybe it was something with that. But second half, man, Tennessee came out. Nico still missed a couple of throws, but he started putting the ball on the money. I mean, that throw down the sideline to Dante Thornton, even the throw on the slant to the end zone that was off Brew McCoy's hands, that one to me is not on Nico. That was on Brew.
Squirrels drop.
Yeah, Squirrels.
That was a ball. I mean, that was perfect.
Right on the money. I mean, Nico looked a lot more dialed in that second half. He looked like he was finally comfortable for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks. What you got?
Did it not feel like it just needed him to get a hit? Well, I mean, he got hit. I think the breath got knocked out of him, and then it's like the moment he came back into that game because Gaston Moore threw an interception, it reset him entirely. And I mean, he started pulling the ball in the reads, which is what we need. He was throwing the ball just on the money. He was also dialing back like the slant to Brew really made me mad because I love Brew with everything I got. But he threw that slant, and you could watch it in live time. He took so much off that ball to just kind of drop it in there because obviously it's a short pass. I mean, it's only like a 10, 15-yard pass. And so you can't throw it too freaking hard because, I mean, like Joe Milton would. I mean, it just goes straight through your hands. You can't even do anything about it. But you could see Nico take some off of it, and Bruce still dropped it. And I was like, what the heck? But, I mean, it just showed, like, the moxie and the confidence that Nico gained and had and was playing with in that second half.
Yeah, and one that doesn't show up in the stat sheet because of the penalty on it, the little lob pass that he had to Holden Stays that the pass interference penalty was called on, that was on the money and would have been caught for a touchdown if it wasn't for the pass interference. It held Holden Stays back to where he couldn't quite reach it, and the defender got a hand on it because of that. But that ball was on the money. The pass to Chris Brazzell that ended up putting Tennessee in the lead for good, man, just Nico looked dialed in the second half, and it's something that is really positive to take going forward. But, I mean, the story of the game, man, Dylan Sampson, just that second half.
Is that the story of the game?
No, it's not. Defense is the story of the game, but the story of the offense in the second half though was Dylan Sampson. I mean, dude just absolutely took over. I believe he rushed for like 110 yards in the second half, if I'm not mistaken, plus those 2 touchdowns. He had 139 for the game. But absolutely, defense just throughout the entire game just absolutely shut down Alabama. You mentioned Ryan Williams. He was still the leading receiver for Alabama. 8 receptions, 73 yards. I think he was.
That's because they targeted him 21 times.
I was going to say they targeted him an insane amount of time. But the key to the victory, and you also said this earlier, you didn't give up the explosive plays. Jalen Milroe and this Alabama offense last year and early this year, they live and die off of those explosive plays. That's what he's known for, is either running the ball or hitting that explosive downfield pass. You didn't give that up. Granted, he didn't have time to make that pass because of the pressure that Tennessee put on him the entire game, but you didn't give up the big play, which is what Alabama was looking for. They dinked and dunked it down the entire field a couple of times, but that's where Tennessee's defense held strong. I mean, you only gave up 17 points, dude, and you just beat Alabama. So, I mean, what more can we say?
I mean, we got a lot of people watching on Facebook. Thank you so much, guys. Be sure to like and share the show. Bring in your friends. We want to talk about this game with you guys as well. Justin tunes in, says they are so close to getting that old offense going again. Yeah, I know. But look, you're also trying to break in a younger guy. I mean, look, he looked like the younger guy. But one thing I'm a little worried about is there's nobody behind him, right? We thought Gaston Moore was that guy because of how he plays in the orange and white game. But he comes in, very first throw, he underthrows it by 15 yards and it gets picked. But Nico, I think, just really needed to get hit. Now, he can say he likes to get hit one way or another because, I mean, I know he kind of has that attitude about him. But I think him getting hit and it hurting a little bit, realize that, I'm still playing football and we need to go out there and play some ball. But man, the defense by far the story of the game. I do want to ask the folks watching. I think we've got 9 people right now on Facebook alone. Not sure what our YouTube numbers look like, but be sure to comment if you're watching so that we know. What did you guys think? And I'm not making this a topic because I don't think it is one, but I've been seeing it because that's what sore losers like to do. But what did y'all think watching the game of the officiating? Because I didn't think it was a problem. There was missed calls and then added calls on both sides, in my opinion. But Bama, I've seen multiple times their fans saying, the refs were y'all's MVP. But you look at it, both teams were penalized over 10 times. I think Tennessee was penalized 11. This is all off the top, by the way, guys. I've only got my iPad screen, so y'all can correct me in the comments if y'all can. But I'm pretty sure Tennessee was penalized 11 times. Bama was penalized 15. Talk about the kneeling effect. I think like 6 of the 15 were false start or delay game.
Yeah, so you're right. It's Alabama had 15 penalties for 115 yards. Tennessee 11 for 95.
Right on. Zach actually just tuned in on Facebook. Dude, Zach, thank you so much. Said Nico actually said in his presser that him getting hit was probably the best thing he needed. And that's what I'm kind of talking about. I didn't realize he said that in the presser. But that's kind of what I'm talking about because it just looked like that's what he needed. After that moment, he came back in. You had fans in the stands screaming and chanting Nico like he was coming in after Joe Milton, which is what we should have been doing all year long and not comparing him to Joe Milton after every overthrow. But he came in, and it was almost like a hero story. Like, he came in, started running the ball. Obviously, that drive ended up in a turnover because his hand got hit. But overall, just was moving the ball very well on Alabama. I think we had over 400 total yards. Dalton comes in. Thank you, Dalton, dude, so much for watching the show, man. Officiating was pretty bad both ways. However, Bama was very, very undisciplined. I agree with that. I think some of that has to do with coaching. Justin says better than Texas game. Dude, I seen one call in that Texas game, and I didn't understand it, but it was like they called pass interference, I think, on Texas. Or no, on Georgia or something. And then basically y'all pulled a Tennessee versus Ole Miss, and y'all actually was able to reverse the call. I don't know how that was – not sure how that happened, but whatever. Yeah. I would agree with Justin on that one. But, no, the officiating, in my opinion, wasn't – you can't say it wasn't good on one side and bad on the other. Because I can point out to – I think it was Bama's either opening or second scoring drive where they called a pass interference. I believe it was on Boo Carter, and he played it picture perfectly playing the ball. He just dove in front of the wide receiver and literally, tried to go in for an interception, which you have every right to go for the ball. And I think because their cleats clicked or whatever and tripped the guy, that they got in for pass interference, which honestly is not right. Like, you have every right to go for the ball as the wide receiver does. There was no aggressive pushing. There was no, there was no hands, like nothing like that. He went for the ball, and they called pass interference, and that immediately led to a score. And it took away the momentum that we had. There's bad calls on both sides for sure. But to me, I don't feel like that's what won or lost a team a game, in my opinion. I just wanted to get the folks' opinion.
No, I've got no complaints about the officiating because you said it. It was fairly even, both sides. Yeah, there was missed calls. Yeah, there was calls that probably shouldn't have been called, but it was for both sides. It wasn't one way or the other.
Sure.
It's not like 2022 where Alabama had 17 penalties and Tennessee had 5, I think.
Yeah.
But I do think every one of those 17 penalties was completely good penalties for Alabama. It's not like the referees were like, well,
kneeling effect.
Yeah, exactly. I've
seen this one. Yeah. I was hoping you were. So this is by Dalton. Dalton, thank you again for commenting. Go ahead and read that thing.
Yeah. Heupel has more wins over Bama than Kirby Smart.
Is that not crazy?
Yeah. That's pretty crazy, but I do have just one little tangent I want to go on here before we wrap up our recap about this game.
I'm not done with it, so you better hurry up.
Tennessee fans, we are better than this. Why are we storming the field?
Oh, shut up.
Why are we storming the field? Look, this is not a Nick Saban coached Alabama team. We have now beaten Alabama 2 out of the last 3 years. In 2022, that was completely justified. You hadn't beaten Bama in 15 years, but we are better than this. we shouldn't be storming the field this time against Alabama.
When your president comes out and says he happily paid for the fines and the goalpost every time to beat Bama, I mean, he kind of asked for it. So it is what it is. I mean, look, I think the thing is yes, we did beat them 2 years ago, but our fans after that, especially after last season, not that they thought it was a fluke, but they were probably afraid that was like the 1 in a 20-year span that we're going to beat them, and now it's going to be another drought. And so I think the fact that it didn't even take another home game. I mean, we beat them consecutively at home now, and I think the drama in the game that led to the win. I mean, I'm not saying it's justified. I think I'm with you. Like, I didn't go on the field even though I was there. I was on the field in 22. I did not care. But I'm not going to sit here and hate on it. I mean, it is what it is.
If
Bama fans, if Tennessee fans have a problem with it, I mean, it's college football. They you feel LSU stormed the field against Ole Miss, dude. Like, it is what it is, and nobody gave them shit. So, excuse me.
But look, this is just me as a Tennessee fan, and this will be the last thing I hit on it. I hold Tennessee to a high standard, and that game in 22, that wasn't just Tennessee breaking the streak against Alabama. That was Tennessee saying, hey, we're back. We're here to stay. And I don't feel like this storming the field made a statement like that one did. If you're going to storm the field, it's because you made a statement victory. Not saying that beating Alabama is not a statement victory, because obviously it is. Alabama has been the standard for basically the greater part of 2 decades. But this is not the same Bama team that has been playing for the last 2 decades either. So that's just where I'm at on it. You know, I might get some hate for this. Everybody has their own opinions on it, but that's just where I'm at with the field storming on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but you also have to remember this is yes the second time in 3 years that we've beaten Bama, but like, think about me and you, bro. This is only the second time that we probably remember beating Bama. Because we were 6-7 years old when they did it last time in 2006, 2007, whatever. So I mean, it's a totally new thing that fans are having. The new generation of fans are having to kind of work with. I don't justify. Jeremy, actually, my dad said, rushing the field's okay. Tearing up the brand new turf that we just put in is not. They're like, what are we doing? Okay. Whatever. I agree with him 100%.
Because I can't see it, who agreed with me in the comments here?
Miss Karen Allen.
No. Well, thank you, Mom.
You said, that was. He didn't mean it. He really appreciated it. Justin said mustard bottles is way worse. Yes, probably. No. All right. So I want to go back to the game now.
Yep, absolutely.
I want to go back to the game. What were our biggest questions going in this? Right?
I mean, for
me,
offense. Yeah, offense was one of them, how Nico was going to respond. For me, it was also our secondary. How are they going to look against arguably their biggest test of the season? How are they going to look going up against Ryan Williams? And they 100% passed that test in the game.
Did they, though?
I think they did.
No, I feel like this is one of those things where we had everything right, and still Tennessee overcame it. Tennessee looked the exact same team for 3 weeks in a row, which I don't understand. They scored 0 points in the first half, and they still were able to overcome it. But I guess what I'm getting at is what we were afraid of happening happened, and we still won. That is so impressive to me. I don't care how bad and ugly it looks. When you have a first half as bad as that, yes, Dad said containing Milroe, 100%. When you make Milroe drop back 50 times, you're doing something right. Alabama abandons the run game, which I don't understand. They have a decent run game with the running back, but they don't push it. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I'm not going to harp on that too much. Dalton comes in and says, second half, they shut down Williams. I don't care. I don't care what it costs, throw the bag at Banks. Yes, because Banks is already getting some talk about some new head coaching jobs, which that is normal when you're dominating. But
so what about Tennessee fans doing a complete 180 on Tim Banks? Because 2 years ago, and even last year at times, it was fire Tim Banks. Get rid of him. Get somebody else.
I mean, when you're playing football and you're scoring 45 points a game and you've lost 5 games because your defense is giving up 50 points a game, I don't blame him on the first 2 years of his tenure. But I think this has proven that once you get your guys in place, I mean, the dude's a baller. I mean, he's a great defensive coordinator. Yeah. But in this day and age of transfer portal, obviously that tenure is a lot shorter, or that span to get your guys is a lot. It's no longer 4 years. It's You need you guys in 2 or 3, or at least some improvement to at least let the folks know that you're working on it. But no, Tim Banks is calling some gems, but I think he's being helped out by what Rodney Garner's doing. Rodney
absolutely.
Garner's got that, and we're going to talk about that. James Pierce Jr., welcome back, big fella.
Yeah,
I mean, just amazing defensive line play once again. He made several shoestring tackles that if he doesn't make that tackle, Jalen Milroe's running for 30 or 40 yards. Just some key tackles. We tackled in space very well. They had some plays. We knew they were going to have some plays. I mean, I'm honestly surprised they didn't have more plays. But I think that speaks to how well we tackled in space, even with Ryan Williams, and how slick he is. We did a great job containing him. But, yeah, Bama, Kalen DeBoer, they really need to figure out how to call some offensive play. I don't know why they abandoned their run game so quick. And I think that actually cost them in this game.
Yeah, I think I agree. And staying on the defensive side of the ball, I do have a question for you. Because, we knew that Keenan Pili got hurt last week. We didn't know at the time of our recording that he had torn his ACL, although we feared that it was going to be something serious after seeing him on the sidelines. It is a big loss, but is it really that big of a loss? Because the question I have, did you see any difference without Keenan Pili on the field than with him as far as the way our linebackers played, the way the defense played?
I mean, it's a bit unfair. I think it's a big loss, that piece, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to put that on the back burner by no means. So
I got you. I just want that to be known. But I do think I agree with you in the fact that Jeremiah Thielander has stepped up in a massive way. Arian Carter has always been that guy. He's just had some issues kind of covering the flats and figuring out zone versus man and communication, obviously, where Keenan Pili was great in communication. But I think in a time where you very much needed it and you had the week to prepare for it. I mean, Coach knew, right? Coach knew Keenan Pili wasn't coming back, and I think the players knew he wasn't coming back. So they at least were able to spend the whole week figuring out who was going to be the new guy with the comm system and their helmet, getting that preparation in. But Jeremiah Taylor's been great. Caleb Perry's been amazing.
That's who I was going to bring up. What about Caleb Perry stepping up last night as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Just great all around play from the linebackers as a whole. And then I mean, I'm going to spit him out. I know I mentioned him earlier, but Boo Carter's playing some freaking solid ball as a true freshman. Kid's making tackles. He did swing at a guy, which I'm not proud of, but he drew the flag because he was jawing with a player late in the game, which ended up being a massive penalty on Alabama.
Yeah.
But he did absolutely push Boo first, but Boo did take a swing. I'm not proud of that. But overall, what he's done on the field, what the linebackers have done on the field, you can't take anything this defense has done and really, really nitpick it. I mean, it's been as good as you could advertise, honestly. It's been solid play. So, yes, to your point, it is a big blow, but we've not seen it, at least on the field, be a major factor so far.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, any last thoughts before we move on to our second segment?
Yes, I mentioned that Alabama abandoned the running game, and I mentioned that we really pressed it. I did not realize that we outrushed Bama 220-75. That is what Josh Pate will say tonight in his live show. Padlock stat. If I give you this stat, you'll know what the outcome of the game is. That is it. We outgained Bama by 100 yards, 414 to 314, outrushing them 220-75. It's crazy stuff. That is stuff that you would see Bama do to us in like 2012, 2013. Yes. Seeing us do that to them, amazing. Justin Williams, McCoy was shut down mode first half at least. McCoy shut down mode, period. I mean, that kid's a baller. That's another thing, man. You in the first half, you had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, I think.
Yep, that's right.
And you missed 2 field goals. And somehow you're only down 7-0. MVP of this game's defense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This defense is the real deal, and we got an off week coming up. We'll kind of discuss in our next segment a little bit about what we need to see over the off week. As in the next segment, we're going to talk about Tennessee's path to the playoff, because Tennessee controls their own destiny right now. But if the offense can look like the offense we saw in the second half of Alabama, which looks like they finally got some things clicking, this Tennessee team is going to be dangerous down the stretch.
I'm just so happy to keep Bama at 17. I don't know. When's the last time we've held Bama to below like 30 points? Much less 20.
I believe it was actually 2015. That was the year when Tennessee.
It was Jalen Hurd and Derrick Henry, wasn't it?
Yes, because Derrick Henry scored a touchdown late to. I think that game was 17-13. Bama won, if I'm not mistaken. But
you're probably right. I remember that one being a low scoring game. Yep, but it's always good. But that was 9 years ago, dude.
Yeah,
9 years. So no, but you got anything in closing on a big third Saturday in October, which everybody I hope got to enjoy a fatty. Even if you don't smoke a cigar, at least put one in your mouth and take a picture, dude. Like, it's awesome.
Hey, that's what I did too. I don't smoke, but I got a cigar. Took a picture with it in my mouth. So hey, you got to do it, man. It's Bama.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
But now let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about Tennessee's path to the playoffs, man. You want to give our segment 2 sponsor?
Yeah, let's do it. It is P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Guys, reach out to PNLBusinessServices.com. Simple as that. PNLBusinessServices.com to figure out what you guys need so y'all can keep focused on your goals and dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you, P&L, for being right there in our corner, literally, and also figuratively to help us grow our channel. Guys, we've got so many folks watching on YouTube, on Facebook. We appreciate you guys. Be sure to like the show, share the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about the kind of like the revival of the Tennessee playoff talk here, because honestly, after that loss to Arkansas and after that game against Florida, which we're happy we won, but my God, it didn't look pretty. I mean, the playoff talk kind of like simmered. I mean, we literally dropped 3 spots in the poll after beating Florida, in which I don't think Florida's a bad team. Did you not see what they just did last night?
That was Kentucky though, but that's a different story. So
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
They still beat them by 3 touchdowns. So I mean,
they did. Before you mentioned Arkansas just a minute ago, I do want to shout out Jeremiah here. This is second week in a row tuning into us. He said Arkansas cost me big, so I'm not betting on my team anymore. But glad Tennessee pulled it out. Jeremiah, we appreciate you tuning into the stream, man. Arkansas they didn't look so hot in the second half last night, but we'll get into more Arkansas once we get to our picks. Let's look at Tennessee's remaining schedule. So, of course, we got a bye week this week. Then you get Kentucky.
Can you share the screen and pull it up? Let's pull it up if you can.
So it's actually on my phone. I don't want to share it on the screen in case it cuts out some of the connection.
I got you. My fault.
No, you're good. So we got Kentucky after the bye week. That game is at home. It's going to be night game, dark mode. Tennessee wins by a lot, by the way. They just destroyed Kentucky. Anyway, then you play Mississippi State.
Can we do that in the first half, or do we have to wait till the second half?
Probably second half. So I hope the first half, but Tennessee has shown to be a second half team this year.
I'm not mad at that. It shows that we make adjustments.
No, exactly. Then you got Mississippi State. That's the homecoming game on November 9th before the big showdown against Georgia on November 16th. Then it's UTEP and at Vanderbilt to end the season. So just right off the top of your head, those 5 games right there, what should Tennessee at worst be at the end of the season?
10-2 with a loss to Georgia. Yeah. Okay, look, in a weird way, all right, if we can circle back to our preseason predictions, Tennessee is dang near exactly where I have them. Except I messed up on which road game at night they were going to lose. I thought they'd lose to Oklahoma on the road at night. They ended up losing to Arkansas on the road at night. But then they turn around beat Florida, beat Bama, which is exactly what I've called. The only other loss that I have on our schedule back to the preseason is Georgia. And Georgia looks to be like that. Okay, so here's the thing. That Bama-Georgia game, is it not spiraled for both teams in the complete opposite direction that you thought that it would? Because Georgia gets the loss there, Bama gets the win, and you kind of think, all right, Georgia's falling off a little bit. Bama's back. Obviously, Kalen DeBoer, he's got a lot to prove in his first year. It's been the exact opposite, and I think I know why. I think Bama got that win, and they were like, all right, we are good. Like, we are that team that we thought we were, and got complacent. And you've seen what that cost them. I mean, the very next week, you lose to Vanderbilt. You dang near go to overtime with South Carolina. You're just a 2-point conversion away from that. And then you lose to Tennessee, albeit on the road. But that's some losses that you wouldn't typically see in an Alabama season. And then for Georgia, they've won every game since. Obviously, they kind of struggled with Mississippi State, but, like, I'm not really going to press that. And then they took it to Texas. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they did.
Texas got within a score in the second half, but then Georgia kind of did what Georgia does and just kind of keeps you at arm's length. They don't care about blowing you out, but they're going to make sure you ain't got a real shot at winning. It's just kind of crazy to see how that's worked out. So for me, Tennessee, worst case, and this, I mean, it's not worst case. Obviously, they could lose to Kentucky, or they could lose to Mississippi State's look pretty good under that new quarterback. I'll be straight up honest, even though the record's terrible. But Vanderbilt. Like, we can't overlook Vanderbilt. We can't overlook little brother. I'm proud of them. The whole state of Tennessee beat Bama. I mean, that makes me so proud, dude. Like, I'm so happy. But, you know, there's some games. There's some games in our schedule remaining. But if you want that shot to the playoff, can't be any worse than 10-2, and the loss has to be to Georgia, in my opinion. You can't beat Georgia and lose to Vanderbilt and still get in my opinion. It has to be to Georgia.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Adam earlier, and a shout out to Adam, by the way. He got engaged this past weekend, so congratulations, Adam, for that. Yeah, so I was talking to him earlier, and he said, Tennessee's path to the playoffs. What do they have to do to finish the season? I said, at worst, 10-2, but the loss has to be to Georgia. If you lose to Kentucky or Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, whoever, if you lose to them and you're 10-2, I don't see us getting in.
Yeah, and to backpack that, the reason why we say that, guys, is the committee has proven they value better, like, how do I say this? They value big losses. And when I say big, I mean, like, big opponents. So top-ranked opponent. They value losing to a top 10 team more than they value beating just a top 25 team, which is weird, in my opinion. But, if like that Arkansas loss hurt. But at the end of the day, it's an SEC loss. And that's why Texas has lost now. Georgia has lost now. But because they lost to, at the time, was top 10 ranked teams, you see they didn't really move that much. Now, Bama has lost or, dropped down to 15, I believe now, but that's their second loss. So the committee has proven they value those higher ranked, I guess you would call it better losses, which is stupid, in my opinion. I mean, a loss is a loss. But if you show like you're competitive against a top ranked team, they're not going to punish you near as bad if you maybe beat a 22nd ranked team by a touchdown or so. Like it's weird, but that's just how it is. And so that's why we're all saying that the loss has to come to Georgia, especially now that Georgia's beaten Texas. I think that helps Tennessee's case in a massive way. There's no guaranteed spot in the SEC championship right now. I was kind of talking about this with my dad. He tunes in. He said, second half adjustments are the sign of great staff. I agree with that. Dad said, "Run, Adam." Oh, that's good. Who was the YouTube user? By the way, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah,
who was that comment?
So we've got Richard Patton saying 11-1 if we can beat Georgia. I think so. That's obviously best case scenario. You absolutely this year can run the table and finish 11-1. That's what we want. But what we're saying is the path is there for 10-2 with a loss to Georgia to still make the playoffs. I mean, obviously, we want Tennessee to go 11-1, sweep the rest of the schedule. But, we're just looking.
11-1 and beat Georgia, we're in the SEC championship, which that's crazy to think.
But, I've got a bit of a hot take here. And it might not be so hot once I kind of explain it. I don't want to go to the SEC championship game. And I'll tell you why.
No, that's
because the SEC championship game and really any conference championship game now it's irrelevant. irrelevant.
Maybe.
The only reason that it is relevant is because you might get a first round bye if you win that game, which is huge. But also, if you lose that game, then you have just played another game that all these other teams have not while they've been sitting at home. And you might end up going from, let's just say, a 6th rank spot where you host a playoff game to you might be traveling after making your conference championship game for your first round game of the playoffs. Or if you've got 2 losses and then that third loss comes in the SEC title game, you might not even make the playoffs at that point.
Wrong. 100% wrong. If you were the top 2 in your conference, you're automatically in. 100% doesn't matter. Okay? If they did divisions, I would agree with you. If it was division still, and you had like a 9-3 team that made like LSU a couple years ago, they were 9-3, made the conference championship. They took that 4th loss in the game. There's no shot that team's a playoff team, right? But if you're 10-2 and you're the 2nd place team in the division throughout the entire season, you can take that 3rd loss, and you're still the 2nd best team in the league, in the conference.
All right, but listen to this scenario because I don't know if we talked about it on this show or if I talked about it on the SEC show back in the summer. Let's just say that there is a scenario where there's a 4-way tie for 2nd going to the conference title game. You've got one team that's 11-1. You've got 4 teams that are 10-2, and there's a tiebreaker for that. If you lose that conference title game and that's your 3rd loss on the season, those 2 loss teams are getting in front of you. Am I wrong?
I think so. But you would have to look at common because they have like this thing for tiebreakers. But at the end of the day, if you make the championship conference game, you're the top 2 in the nation or in the league, the conference. But now here's where I would say you might be right. What if they only got into the game because they broke like the stupid tiebreakers? So like technically those other teams were the same, they were already tied with them. And if they lost, and especially if it wasn't competitive with the first place team, I could see another team boosting up at that point. But I don't necessarily know if that's a punishment because they're playing for a guaranteed spot in the playoff. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll get there when we get there, all right? When we get to that bridge, we'll then cross the water. But, I think right now, if you're the top 2 in your conference, which doesn't have divisions, which means you're the outright top 2 teams, there's no way they can punish you for losing that game. You're automatically in. Now, here's my thing. You're only getting 3 or 4 teams in the conference in.
Yep.
People are forgetting that 5 spots are taken already. The top 4 of the Power 4 and then one of the
Group of 5.
Yes. Now, of course, one of those is going to be SEC. So that's your 1. But at that point, you've got 7 at-large bids. You're 1,000% getting the 2nd place teams of the Big Ten. I'm going to say SEC, of course. The ACC, maybe. I don't think so, though. Not this year. And then there's a chance that SEC gets 4. But I'm still saying that it's going to be between the Big Ten because Big Ten having Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State right now, those 3 look like locks for the playoff. Obviously the season's got to play out, but those 3 teams are all looking at going undefeated or 11-1 at worst. So they're probably getting 3 teams in, which means SEC's probably only going to get 3 teams in. You really got, in my opinion, you got to make the SEC championship if you want to take it out of the committee's hands. I guess is the best way I can put it. If you're that 3rd or 4th best team, it's all on eye test. And let's be honest, Tennessee's not past it. And Tennessee's not past the eye test. Anybody that looks at Tennessee, they see a very much struggling offense with a dominant defense. I mean, somebody posted this, and they were actually on the money, and I don't know if I want to give the guy credit. But he basically said we're the Iowa of SEC right now. And I think he's wrong because Iowa would never score 24. But I don't think there's a lot of false to that statement either. But no, I just think back to the SEC championship discussion. I don't see how you can be 2nd place and be punished for losing that game and not even make the playoff at that point. It makes no sense to me.
I mean, I guess we'll just have to see what the committee decides to do before I completely go off on one tangent or the other. But that's just where I'm at right now. You know, if a situation like that arises, I also agree with you that I think that you should not be punished for being the second best team in the conference and you losing that conference title game. I think you absolutely should be in. But will it happen? We'll see what the committee decides to do. I believe Justin put this in when I was talking, so I think he agrees with me here.
No, he doesn't.
Well, he always agrees with me, so I mean it's obvious.
Right.
But
Richard said Vanderbilt is a bad loss for Bama, and he also says I agree. I think Tennessee gets in. Do we want to beat Georgia? Of course we do. Nico is going to figure it out. Josh knows what he has, and then my dad tunes in. He says Miami for the ACC. Yes, that would be one of the 4. But I'm saying that I don't think there's a second place team in the actually Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson.
So
Clemson would get in
too. Yeah. So the SEC is probably only getting 3 in. It's going to be 3 Big Ten, 3 SEC, right? And then you've got your 2 ACC. You've got your
right now. You've got 2 Big 12. You've got Iowa State and BYU that are both undefeated right now. And then you're going to add in probably Boise State.
Your 5, which is your 11, and then, that's Boise State.
And the way it sits right now, probably Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's not in. Screw that. That's a dumb take. I cannot believe you just said that on a live show.
Well, I'm just saying the way it is right now.
That's Northern Illinois. They're not getting in the playoffs. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
I don't disagree with you, but the projections right now are showing Notre Dame if we were to start the playoffs today.
You must be looking at ESPN projections because they're god-awful. So,
I mean, fair enough.
You are looking at them, ain't you?
Look, hey, I'm looking at ESPN. I'm looking at CBS. I'm looking at all of them, man. I check all of them there. And Justin does agree with you on this. Notre Dame won't make it.
Yes.
I would absolutely love if this right here happens. Who put this comment in? Army or Navy?
Zach Holder, dude. Thank you so much for watching, man. We got a busted chat, dude. Chat is bombing off right now. I think they're liking the topic here. Because she tunes in and says Alabama has been beat by every team in Tennessee. Glad they don't play Memphis.
Hey, it's too bad they don't play MTSU either. I bet they could give them a run for their money. But
no, let's go further. Give them Austin Peay, dude.
But look, there, dude. But look, talking about Army or Navy, there is a scenario where these 2 teams can meet for the conference title game undefeated and then play again the week after for the Army-Navy game. There is a scenario where that happens. So
playoff, dude. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I look, Tennessee, you want to guarantee it, make it the SEC championship any way you can. I think Tennessee still has a really good chance being 10-2 if they're 2 losses. Obviously, it's Arkansas, and that's not a good one. But if Georgia's that second one, we'll weigh our options when we get there. There's going to be a ton of teams 11-1, 10-2 in the SEC. Probably 5. So right now you've only got 2 teams in the conference that have not lost a game, and that is Texas. Play each other.
Yeah, Texas A&M and LSU who play each other this weekend. So, and
we'll talk about that one. But they do play each other. I don't see either of those teams finishing undefeated in the SEC. I know everybody's probably like, whoa, like those teams have a loss. They do, but they've been out of conference losses. We're talking specifically they're undefeated in the conference, so technically they're 1-2 in the conference right now as far as sitting in the driver's seat for the championship game. But those 2 teams go head to head this next week, and we'll kind of find out who gets on the upper hand of that one. Where's that one played at? We'll talk about it soon, but where's that played at?
That's going to be at Texas A&M. So,
right on.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and get into some picks so we can talk about these games a little bit?
Let's do it. Justin Williams says, let Alabama play Richland, who, by the way, are like 6-2 right now. They did have a heartbreaker of a loss last week, but other than that, they're playing some pretty good ball. And then Jade said we can call it the Battle of 65. I like that. I like that one. That's pretty good. I like that one a lot. Anybody on YouTube that we need to Richard said, or ETSU. Nice. Richard, I agree with you. A 3-loss team won't make it, period. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Unless
the way this year is gone.
Unless that 3rd loss is in the championship game. Like if you lose that 3rd game, in my opinion, you're still the 2nd best team in the conference. you can't judge a loss to a team that was already better than you, in my opinion. I can't knock you even further down, especially if it's a close game. So that's just my opinion, though. We'll see. We'll see how that works.
Yeah.
Georgia got screwed out of that last year. They were undefeated, got beat in the championship game, in a game that you're not supposed to punish a team as much as the regular season, and they ended up missing the playoffs entirely. I feel like that's a bigger jip than the FSU debacle. And I have a lot of people that agree with me on that. So we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yep. I think I agree with you there. But let's get into some picks, man. And our segment 3 sponsor is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So this is another good slate this weekend. It's not as good of a slate as we have seen over the last couple of weeks, but we found out already that doesn't always mean much. And we're starting off the conference slate this weekend with a game between Oklahoma and Ole Miss. This game is being played at 12 Eastern on ESPN. It is in the Grove. Skylar, what say you for OU versus Ole Miss, who, by the way, OU just fired their offensive coordinator today?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of felt that one coming. I want to ask the chat, who are we feeling? I feel like it's a pretty easy pick here. Oklahoma, we have no idea what's going on with them. I like to think that Tennessee wrecked Oklahoma. All right, literally. Give me Ole Miss here, probably by a good margin. Oklahoma just kind of crapped the bed against South Carolina. Let's be honest. That was something I didn't really see happening, but it did. Is this a chance for maybe Jackson Arnold to kind of gain back some trust? Or I don't know. We'll see. There's been a lot of talk in that fan base. They're kind of lost right now. Welcome to the SEC. I mean, it's a gauntlet, and you got another one against Ole Miss and the Grove, and that's Party City. You think some of other fan bases are obnoxious. You just wait till you get to Ole Miss, the SIP, as they call it in the biz. So give me Ole Miss, probably about 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so I don't know what the exact stats are, but I will say,
oh, God. We got overwhelming Ole Miss here, okay? Like, this is my point. Just on Facebook alone, Jeremy, Karen, and Chassie say Ole Miss. We do have one saying Oklahoma. Brandon tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was quick response. The chat is lit.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat. Appreciate that.
So I don't know what the exact stats are, but I do know I see a lot that teams rally after a coordinator or a head coach or whatever gets fired. I don't think it's going to happen this weekend. I think Ole Miss is just a better team. OU is looking like they're going to have that disappointing start to the SEC that none of their fans agreed with, but everyone else was saying OU is going to be a mediocre team coming in this year. Do I think they have potential down the road? Yes, but not this year. Give me Ole Miss in this game. Second game on the slate is going to be Arkansas against Mississippi State. This game is in Starkville, Mississippi. It's at 12:45 Eastern on SEC Network.
Hang on 1 second. Richard on YouTube said, did he get injured? And is he talking about Jackson Arnold? Because if he is, no, he just got benched because he played so poorly against Tennessee, which if you've not been paying attention, we make almost every quarterback look really bad. And that's a quite opposite of what we usually do. But I think Jackson Arnold got done a little bit unfairly that he got benched in the 3rd or 4th game of his season because he went up against one of the best defenses in the country. I think that's a little bit unfair of him, but I don't really care. I don't have no dog in that race. Jade said, Brendan Woodard, are you drunk for picking Ole Miss? So Justin says Ole Miss for sure. Dad said that Brendan makes poor decisions. We're being a little mean in the comments here. Okay, that's all right. Anyway,
love it, man. Love it.
Let's get back on track.
So this game here, I'll go first on this one. Arkansas is a lot better team this year than we thought. They did hit a little stumbling block last week against LSU. I don't think that's a testament of the type team that Arkansas has. I think that's a testament of LSU being a little bit underrated and finally figuring some things out. Mississippi State has looked better over the last couple of weeks with the freshman quarterback coming in, but I do think that overall Arkansas is a better team, so I'm going to take Arkansas on the road to get the win over Mississippi State.
You would be agreeing with Miss Karen in the chat. I am going to agree with Justin. I think this is a game for Mississippi State to prove that they are not as bad as the record shows. Mississippi State has found something. Mississippi State has found something with that Van Buren kid. And no, he's not, I don't think, related to the president in any way. Way back. And way back. But this kid is electric. They scored 31 on Georgia last week. Not last night, but last week. I think this is a chance to prove something. This is obviously in Starkville. Going to need some more cowbell here. And, I think this is a good chance for Mississippi State to kind of prove, like I said, that they are not as bad as the record shows. I think they just had like a lot of teams, they've got a really rough schedule, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. They definitely figured some things out, and I'd love to see them get a win because I'm high on Jeff Lebby.
Zach agrees. He says State.
Hey, that's a fair fair pick.
2-1. That's 2-1 on here, huh?
Yeah, there we go. So next game, it is Missouri going up against Alabama. This is at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Let me look. Last time I looked, I think, Alabama is a 13.5-point favorite in this game.
If Missouri was located in Tennessee, I would be choosing Missouri. However, they're not. I'm not choosing Missouri. There's no way. Give me Alabama. I want to choose Missouri as a Tennessee fan, but as an analyst, I don't know. I feel like as a show, I should be a little bit, less orange glasses here. Alabama I do think gets the win. Missouri's look sus, but they've just done enough to win these games. It's weird how they flirt with it. I mean, worse than Tennessee in my opinion. But you had Brady Cook show some grit. I mean, he gets hurt, leaves the game, goes getting checked out at a freaking hospital. I don't know how this is even okay to do, but he came back to the stadium, dresses back up, gets on the field, and proceeds to come back and beat Auburn. The craziest story you could imagine. That did happen, by the way. And so I think this could be a good game again, which is not what Alabama wants to hear, but I think Alabama fans don't even care. They're like, bro, we're stuck, we a little fucked up, and excuse me. But I think Alabama does get the win here. I look for Jalen Milroe to have a day with his legs, but they need to force the running game with the running back. They need to get him involved. I don't think he's a bad back at all. And they were getting a good push on Tennessee. I don't know why they got away from that. So give me Bama.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to go with Bama in this one as well. I don't think the game is going to be close. I think this is one that Alabama does take care of business from the beginning, as long as they don't let this Tennessee loss just completely break them, because that's what happened to Alabama against South Carolina. Was they were reading all the headlines from Vanderbilt beating them the week before. It got in their heads. They didn't play well, and I think that carried over to the Tennessee game. Although, I mean, they played fairly well against Tennessee, but Tennessee they stopped them. That plain and simple. Tennessee did what they needed to, but I think this is one where Alabama gets right. I think they beat Missouri pretty handily in this game. I think Ryan Williams and Jalen Milroe hook up for a lot of yards and a couple of touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, Richard on YouTube, dude. I'm sorry, we've not forgotten about you. I've got the chat here. He says, "Come on, everyone, hit that like button." That's what I'm talking about, Richard. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see. We got some folks in here. It's kind of a split. Look, let me say this. Kalen DeBoer came out and said he's not lost control of this team. He's not going to lose control of this team. If they lose this game, he will have lost control of this team. There's no reason whatsoever an Alabama team with the roster they have is a 3-loss team. Period.
All right, so this shouldn't happen,
especially with the remaining schedule they have, they could absolutely be a 4-loss team.
Yeah, so this shouldn't happen, but if Alabama loses this game to Missouri and they've lost 3 out of the last 4 games, is Kalen DeBoer fired at the end of the year?
I'm not even talking about that. I don't even know. Because in a way that's like so unethical. But at the end of the day, I don't think Alabama gives a crap about ethics. They haven't given a crap about ethics the entire time Saban was there. So I mean, I don't know. We'll yeah. Again, that's another one of those like when we get to the bridge, we'll then cross the water.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know because I mean at the end of the day, I did predict them to go 9-3, but I thought they'd lose to Georgia, Tennessee, and then I thought they'd drop the Iron Bowl. I mean, I thought those are 3 losable games. Like any fan would look at those 3 games and like, yeah, those could be toss-ups. They beat Georgia, but then they lose to Vanderbilt. They do lose to Tennessee. Let's see how they finish the season. Obviously, they got Missouri. They do have the Iron Bowl still, which I think Nick Saban kind of fired up the Auburn fan base there. I don't know why he did that, but he did. So if y'all didn't catch that, Nick Saban said that the third Saturday night in October was a bigger rivalry to his players than the Iron Bowl. Not sure why he said that because Nick Saban's all about a guy that doesn't like rat poison, and my God, did he just give it to Auburn. Auburn sucks, but we'll see, you know.
Yep. Next game on the slate, it is Texas going up against Vanderbilt. This is at 4:15 Eastern Time on the SEC Network.
Justin, how are we feeling about this game? Hey, how are we feeling? Drop it right now. How are we feeling, Justin? Justin's a big Longhorn fan, but he supports UT because he supports me, and I appreciate that. But I want to know, Justin, how are we feeling? Dad's already put Vandy in all caps. He thinks that Vandy can get it done. Justin and Jeremy both think that if Kalen DeBoer loses another game, he is gone. Which is crazy, but like again, I understand. We got everybody jumping on the Vandy train. No, guys, it's not gonna happen. Arch Manning is that guy, unfortunately. So worst comes to worst, you bench Quinn, put in Arch Manning. He's gonna run around like Johnny Manziel and get the win. So give me Texas in this one. Man, it would make my heart happy if Vandy like makes it like a 4-quarter game, loses by like a field goal or a touchdown, just enough to give Justin a heart attack. But like they get the win, so he's still okay and can sleep at night. Look, I'll say this: if Texas can beat Vanderbilt, they will have had done something that Alabama couldn't do.
Yeah. So the worst thing that could have happened to Vanderbilt was Texas losing to Georgia, which is exactly what happened. Texas, Sark is going to have Texas ready to play in this game. They're not going to overlook Vanderbilt. If Texas had won the game, I'll be honest, I probably would be coming on here saying, I think Vanderbilt can do this. But I can't do that after Texas got beat by Georgia. There's going to be a bounce-back game for Texas, and they win this game.
There's a comment. Zach said, Nashville will be rocking. Yeah, because 80% of the stands is going to be Texas fans. I mean, come on now.
Hey, it'll be about 70% Texas fans. There's a few more Vandy fans showing up now.
All right, my fault. That's on me. All right,
so
Coach going to the swimming again. Dude, hey, let them. Don't stop them. I don't know why the security freaking people stopped us. Like, why? Like,
because they're in the same boat as I am as far as the field storm went. So, next game on the slate. It is the big one of the night. It is LSU going up against Texas A&M. This is at 7:30 Eastern on ABC. This is not where I saw these two teams sitting at this point. I did have LSU going 10-2 this year, but it was based on the schedule. Did I see them being undefeated sitting at this point? And also Texas A&M sitting at this point in the SEC? Not at all. I do like Texas A&M in this game, though. They're the home team. I feel like overall this year they have played better all-around ball. LSU has looked better over the last couple of weeks, though. They've absolutely put some things together after that loss to USC in Week 1. But give me Mike Elko and Texas A&M to win this game at home.
Yeah, I do like that they get this game at home. But to me, LSU's win over Ole Miss a little bit more impressive than what A&M's done this year. I do like Garrett Nussmeier doing some good things. LSU's defensively not looking solid. But offensively, they can move the ball. Give me the Tigers in this one to go in to College Station and fight the 12th man all the way to the end and pull out a win here. I think this is where Mike Elko suffers his first loss. I do. I don't think he's going to get through this season unscathed, and I think LSU is going to drop one later in the year. So my hot take, but it's not a hot take. I just don't see a team making it undefeated in the conference this year, and I've kind of said that 2 weeks now in a row. So
yeah, there won't be a team that goes undefeated in the conference this year. I completely agree with that. Last game that's on the slate, it is Auburn traveling to Lexington to play against Kentucky. This is at 7:45 Eastern on SEC Network.
Comment Jade on the last game, LSU, A&M. She wants both of them to lose. I second that. No, Zach seconded that. I third that. So
that's fair.
Yes. This game right here, I have no feel on it. Absolutely none. Like Kentucky is terrible, which, for the fourth year in a row, they got a 5-star quarterback as well, and he's going to be the biggest thing that ever happened. And he's not. He's terrible. He's garbage. But I don't think it's really him. I think it's Mark Stoops. Not the guy. It's like he had a rivalry so big with Cal that when Cal left, he's like, I don't know what to do now. Like, my hands, and like, I don't know what to do. Like, Stoops is coaching, like, I don't know. Like, it's stupid. And then on the other hand, you got Auburn, who can't protect the ball. Turnovers on turnovers. They look like they had the game against Missouri, which would have looked like a good win, and then they fumbled that back, too. Like, I have no feel in this game. Do you have a feel on it? Because if you do, I will just take the other team. I swear to God.
I don't have a great feel on it. What I was going to say is this is two teams and neither one of them are happy with their coaches right now. I have heard rumors that this is Mark Stoops' last year, not because he's fired, but because he's going to retire at the end of the season.
He's going to Florida. What?
At this point, if he does anything, he is just going to retire because he has it made at Kentucky. They're not going to fire him. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, they won't fire him. But I do think this. I do think that this is Mark Stoops' last year at Kentucky because he decides to retire from coaching. But Auburn fans are also not happy with Hugh Freeze at all. Neither team has a good offense. Technically, I should go with Kentucky because their defense is better. But you know what? I'm going with Auburn in this game.
All right, so we got Justin. We got Justin, Brandon, Jade, all going Kentucky. We got Karen, Dad, going Tigers.
Look,
who would you go with?
I went with Auburn because I'm going to say this.
I'll take Kentucky. I don't even care. Look, I got to make up some points. We'll talk about that here in a second. I got to make up some points. I'm going with the other guy because I seriously don't have a feel in this game. I don't feel comfortable choosing either one of these. I'm not betting a dollar on this game.
Yeah, because I will say this though. Both of us agree that there is not going to be a team go undefeated in the conference this year. I don't think there's going to be a team that goes winless in the conference either. I think that
winless right now.
Auburn is, and I believe Mississippi State is as well.
Mississippi State and Auburn are going to beat that this week. This is the week they get their wins. But I'm taking, I guess, Kentucky because you picked Auburn. So.
Yeah, so that is the pick segment. So now we're going to go over to upset pick of the week, and I will say you made up some ground this past week because I had a bad week last week. I went 3-5. You went 6-2 and got an extra point for your upset game covering. Hey, they almost pulled that off too.
Every freaking week, dude. I pick these games and I feel so good about them, and all they do is cover. It's insane, bro. It's fine. We'll get there.
Yeah, so once again, the losses do not matter. It's just the wins. Do you have your game yet?
Yes.
Okay. I guarantee you're not going to pick mine, so if you want to go first.
Missouri over Alabama. No, I'm joking. Joking. I will take Kansas over Kansas State. That is a 10.5-point dog. Kansas State is ranked 16th in the country. They do have a good quarterback. Kansas has a decent team. but they are a 10.5-point dog. It is at Kansas State, but I like the Bluebirds to get it done. The Jayhawks.
All right, so Kansas over Kansas State. This week I'm not going with a 5-point play, but it's because there's not one that I just absolutely love.
Oh, you're just being scared. It's fine. I mean, I would be scared, and no, I wouldn't. You're playing not to lose here and not going for the win, and I appreciate that because it's giving me a window here. But you're playing scared, Michael, and scared money don't win money, dog. Come on, let's go.
No, look, there's a round of golf on this, so I got to play strategic. But no, there's really no game that I really like that is a double-digit spread. The only one that I would possibly say would be San Diego State over Washington State, but I just don't really like that one. What I do like is UL Monroe is a 7.5-point dog against South Alabama. Yeah, I'm going with a mid-major game.
Not only are you not picking a 10-point play here or a 5-point play here, you're going to go in a game that nobody's going to watch, dude.
How many times have I done that this year and I've actually either covered or won because this happened a couple of times. I love going for these smaller games, dude.
It's fine, dude. It's fine.
Yeah,
Whatever
so
you need to do to win this round of golf, dude. It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, this strategy backfired against me last year. I just want you to know.
It's going to backfire again, bro. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, so UL Monroe, they play some really good ball this year. I actually found this out this week. So Trent Dilfer at UAB is doing terrible, by the way. And the guy that all UAB fans wanted, or all UAB players, like they signed a petition, wanted the AD to hire this guy. He's now at UL Monroe and has them, I believe, sitting at 5-1 on the season.
Dang, okay. We're cooking here.
Yeah,
not
so
really
that's
because it's a mid-major, but whatever, it's fine. Somebody just tuned in, and I want to let her know something. I've got something in the works. Thanks to her. Her name is Miss Terry Drummy. She just tuned in. Thank you so much. Can't show it off because I'm on a boat right now. But I've got something that just got added to the studio back at home. I cannot wait to show you guys, and it's all thanks to her at MIG, Madison Insurance Group. She's one of the agents out there. She hooked me up big time, and can't wait to show you guys. So be sure to tune in again next week so I can show you that. But she just tuned in, and I wanted her to know that I did not forget. I'm just not in the studio today. So,
yeah, and I'm honestly jealous about it too. So
you can stay jealous too because you're playing like scared to win here, scared to lose. So you can be jealous. It's fine. I cannot wait to show that thing off. It's a perfect piece. So cannot wait. And thank you so much, Miss Terry, for that. At this point, I think it's time for
Rakin with Jake, man. So you want to give our Rakin with Jake sponsor?
Dude, you already know it's Reed Bryant State Farm, dude. Whether you're looking for auto, home, renters, or life insurance, Reed Bryant provides you with the personalized coverage options that fit your unique requirements. Their team is always available to answer any questions you may have and assist you in finding the perfect insurance solutions. At Reed Bryant State Farm, they understand the importance of safeguarding what matters most to you so you can focus on enjoying the game, especially when it's a win, without worrying about the unexpected events. To reach out to Jake directly, who's about to be on the show, you can reach out to him by email at Jake, Jake, at easttninsurance.com or give their office a call at 865-457-1505. And State Farm, Reed Bryant, we appreciate you because this is one of the coolest freaking segments that we've ever done on the show, and that is Rakin with Jake, and he's here. Are we muted? No,
we're fine. We're rolling today.
Dude,
we're rolling
but what
today.
did you go last week? Last week 3-2.
3-2. So what does that make me? 22-8.
22-8.
Yep.
Look, you went.
Hey, that's money.
No, you went 3-2, and the swing game is the Bama Tennessee game. How you chose that, had the kahunas to be confident in that pick is beyond me. But by God, you hit it, and I'm so proud of you for it because I bet on it. Won a lot of money on it. I actually parlayed your pick money line with the under, made a little bit of money. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, you nailed it. Thankful for you. Thank you for being on the show, and I like making money. So If you keep it up, we might do a discounted rate on the next season. I don't know. I'll talk to Michael about that. I'm just
hey, you know what's crazy though is 2 years ago it was pretty much guaranteed money to take the Tennessee over, and now 2 years later it's guaranteed money to take the Tennessee under. So
I'm about to start prop betting that we get shut out in the first half. So what I'm about to
yes.
dude, Jake, how are we doing, brother?
Man, I'm still recuperating from the game. I was there yesterday. I had been pulled about 11 different ways. I think I hiked about 6 miles. Shout out to my brother for knowing direction. So if anybody saw me around campus and I sounded as angry as I was fine. Just some family troubles that are just brother problems.
I miss you, bro. You were supposed to stop by, man.
You can thank him for that one. I'm
sitting there. I almost missed ball walk because I'm waiting on you and like 3 other of my guys. I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming," and then like nobody showed up.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Cheer.
But I know.
Fine, I
at the end of the day, all that matters is that the community, the state of Tennessee, gets to see what happens when you play what championship football is. And I think that's the funny thing. I was going back. I gotta say this before I forget.
You call that championship ball, dude?
Oh yeah.
My defense, I agree.
Did we forget that special teams is a thing? I mean, I'm
sorry. We didn't even talk about that, but no, the special teams came back alive. Florida scared me. I'll be honest. But they did lock back in for Bama, and taking that delay of game penalty, sorry to sidetrack here, that was genius, and everybody in the fans were pissed off. And I'm like, they did that on purpose. And you've seen exactly why. And then you get a 3 and out, and then you get the ball back literally like at the exact same spot you had it just 30 seconds later in the gameplay. Like, that was genius. Special teams was awesome. I will give you that 100%.
Hey, and I'm glad you brought that up too. So Kentucky, Auburn, those are the worst 2 teams in the SEC.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a statistic. That's not my feelings. That's a statistic. And I went back and tried to recalibrate my head because I really missed out on some of the bets last week. I thought Illinois was just going to get mollywalked. And back to I need to be true to what I say weeks prior, man. Championship football starts at every single aspect. You got to win the play. You got to win execution, dude. This season is insane, and I think it shows exactly what is going on. The SEC right now, out of 12 out of the 14 teams, well, I guess now we'd say 16. I don't even count Oklahoma and Texas, so I would assume I can definitely count Texas. I know their efficiency's up there, but so we can say safely 13 or 14 of the 16 teams are in top 40 of overall efficiency, offense and defense, after playing all of each other. Just remember what that stat means. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah.
So it gets weirder there. These teams are beating the snot out of each other on a week-to-week basis. And Mark Stoops is comfortable. He is sitting back and just grinning and having a blast getting that one quality win against Ole Miss. I mean, just feel good at Kroger Field. I mean, we love it. We love it. This is what the SEC is about. And so, I went into Alabama.
It's a lot reminiscent of, Kentucky gets the big win over Ole Miss and they're feeling good about themselves. And then you just see them tank afterwards. Is that not what Alabama did? They beat Georgia. They feel really good about themselves. And then, I mean, let's be honest. They have tanked. I mean, you lose to Vanderbilt. You dang near going to overtime with South Carolina, and then you lose to Tennessee in the next 3 games.
Was South Carolina at South Carolina?
No, that was at Alabama.
No, it was at home.
Man, I'm telling you, and this is just my personal opinion and my personal experience. I've been to Alabama 3 times, 2 for Tennessee games, and the other one was for
are we about to trigger more bounders? Please don't. They've already been in my DMs.
I'm sorry, but, the first time I went, I had a bad taste in my mouth. They lit the cigars in the 3rd quarter. I went to my game. I went to the game, cigar in the pocket. I'm not a smoker, but it's out of principle. It is championship caliber football that you have to play. Kalen DeBoer, whatever his name is, DeBoer, he's awful. I mean, I've not seen a guy who can have such lack of depth and adjustment throughout an entire game plan when it comes to targeting a freshman, a 17-year-old, 18 times. Not only did you just hurt his draft stock, why would you play for that guy? I'm just thinking from an HR perspective, right? I'm thinking from a business. Ryan Williams is a stud. And if I were him, I'd leave and go to the portal.
Yeah. I mean, it
I'm
showed
sorry.
me that it showed me that they are like he is the offense. I mean,
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe. I'll take it one further. You said he was targeted 18 times. Was the 17-year-old phenom, and he's amazing. Don't get me wrong. You also had Jalen Milroe drop back 50 times.
Yeah. Oh,
5-0.
wow. Was it 50?
Yes, I know. On the attempts, he only had like 46.
Wow.
But he
That's on
scrambled and
coaching.
ran on more touchback. And this is according to SEC Network. But he dropped back 50 times. That is not a winning recipe, dude. Like, there's no shot.
You know what? You know what that honestly sounds like?
Wow.
That sounds like Tennessee last year in their losses to Florida and Alabama and Georgia, where they got away from the running game and they decided they're going to throw the ball with Joe Milton.
But it's not like Bama was down by multiple scores to have to force to do that. I mean, they were either in the lead or within one possession the entire night. Yeah. So I didn't understand that whatsoever. But
it's lack of discipline, man. I mean, Washington, I think, in my opinion, there's a difference in consistency. It's, champions can win in any aspect. It's about strategy, right? It's about obviously what can we do with the resources we have available. Okay. And you look at a team at Washington. Is that where'd the board come from? Washington, right?
Washington.
Yeah. I mean,
where did he come from?
You have a select sample size. You have small resources you have to study for. Like, you got 3 or 4 teams and coaches right now. I think that's what's happening with Gus Malzahn. I think I'll go back to my picks in a minute. But, I think that's what's going on is some of these guys that have been acquainted to their conference and seeing that there's been this realignment didn't quite understand the scope of parity that was going to happen in the SEC. And I think that some teams benefited. I actually think the ACC benefited a little bit. It may not show from the metrics because, when we talk about path to the playoff, a lot of it does go to body of work. That's one thing that people like to talk about towards the back end. But, to me, man, I'm really excited, but I also think it's scary to see how easy it is. It's more like the NFL. You're not going to get an undefeated team anymore. You're going to be walking into the playoffs. It's a grind week in and week out. The Browns can beat whoever, the Chiefs, So that's the only thing.
The only thing I disagree with you when you first came on, you said championship football. 3 turnovers and 2 missed field goals in the first half's not championship football.
That's lack of execution. Do you disagree?
No, I agree.
Points with those play calls.
No,
I'm not.
The play calls.
No, but execution is a part of playing championship ball. Like I don't care.
Who executed more?
If we in a game, but I mean at this point we're not calling championship or we're not calling Alabama a championship caliber team. But we've got to lock in. If we can lock in, dude. If we I'm not even saying we have to hit all of them, but you don't miss all 4 of your deep shots in the first half. You hit 1. Totally different game. Totally.
Exactly.
You don't fumble on the opening possession again on the second ring in a row. Like we're talking about a whole. So like I agree with you. The scheme is there. Execution's got to follow. But if we can do that, I would agree with you. That's 100% championship. Defense. One thing they taught me is no matter how ugly we look on offense, we're going to be in the game. 100%. Yeah. So
we can be down 10 in the third, and we gotta. And that's the thing that scares me as Tennessee fans is complacency, man. I mean, that to me is the biggest thing. Is Tennessee fans are very used. They got very, very spoiled with 2022 and the amount of execution and what we would say isn't efficiency but production. That was just productive football. Your outcome was coming out and hitting on all cylinders. Every single deep shot you hit, you're hitting. We're in week 8.
Hendon Hooker
I was going to say, Hendon Hooker made everything look easier than it really is.
And so, I mean, the thing is you still got a guy, and I was trying to think about it. I watched Arch Manning quite a bit, against Georgia. When you think about the resources that Arch has at Texas and his family and what he has grown up and been taught and principled versus a guy who's out in California who's taking a shot, taking a risk, not just staying in California, to come out here, get uncomfortable, get a lot of different, fresh ideas about football, and then network across the way and get guys like Brazel who just come up and make plays off of beautifully leveraged footballs. So, again, consistency from Nico will follow. It's maturity is consistency. Maturity is consistency. So, the one thing you got to remember is the defense has it, man. The defense is the most mature thing. Boo Carter didn't swing. He didn't swing. He got in his face.
Yes, he did.
He stepped up.
No, he absolutely swung.
Watch it again.
Rewatch it.
I will. I will say, in fairness to Skylar, he has not gone back and watched the TV broadcast yet. I also did not see him swing. I also did not see him swing.
No. I seen this on the No. I did see this. He got pushed, and as he's falling, he immediately swipes.
You want to say that and get him suspended, or I mean, are we going to say the TV broadcast said they didn't show it?
I said I wasn't proud of it.
I'm not proud of it.
Initiated it, but he did. But
the next play, it's a blank
slate.
Exactly.
Mentality.
But
exactly.
Don't you be?
All I'm saying is don't start it, finish it. And I think Luke Carter's one of those guys. I think he would.
Hey, by the way, Gerard McCoy, last thing about this game, because I could go for hours on.
Yeah, we've already done the recap. We've actually been waiting but it's fine. It's totally fine. This is your show. Honestly, we've gone over your 15-minute allotment, but fine. Do your thing, Gerard McCoy. Here we go.
He's a dog. To be able to play the way he can play footwork, press to man, and then be able to shoot off. He's a Swiss Army knife. We've not had a guy like this since Alontae Taylor.
But he also tackles in space.
That's one thing. Yeah,
it's one thing to cover well, but he also tackles so good.
I guess I've never seen him miss a tackle. I guess I haven't noticed it. I haven't watched this guy, but man, he really showed me a glimpse yesterday.
Yeah, so I forget where it was, but there was a Tennessee fan somewhere that had a sign after he got that interception in the end zone and said he's only 19.
Yeah.
No, I got one better for you. There was actually a warrant out for his arrest because he was assaulting a minor. It was, I think, a 17-year-old wide receiver for Alabama. So that's what I was.
I did not know where you were going with that.
Yeah, I seen that one and I laughed. I thought that was a really good post. I was like, that is hilarious. And then the one cheesy one is, obviously, Williams is the youngest player ever to lose in Neyland Stadium because obviously, he's the youngest player to ever do anything that they do. So,
So anyway, Jake, you got some winners for us this week.
And I'm hoping. I almost feel like I'm playing like you today, Michael. I heard a little bit of trash talk about y'all's picks and upset pick of the week, but I'm just feeling pretty decent right now. I think that I'm gonna just go with the feels, go with what I saw and roll with it. But honestly, I don't know what order I sent it. So just pop whichever one you got. Pittsburgh money line, perfect. Still hate this one. Probably
I'm literally placing these as we go through them. I'm just letting you know that right now. I got my phone up. We about to FanDuel. By the way, if you got a betting problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. But Pittsburgh money line. Here we go.
Is the spread moved at all on that? I think it was.
It is at -5.5.
-5.5 to Pitt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm talking about. I guess I know what I'm talking about.
It's moved.
Yeah, I saw it at -3.5, and I
3.5 this morning.
Like it.
I'm still taking it.
Just money line. I would just take money line.
Just take money line. Never mind.
Dude, Pittsburgh will lull you to sleep. They're doing the same thing Tennessee.
But all they're doing is winning, man. Yeah, all they're doing is winning.
That's really it. They're undefeated. You're walking into an undefeated Pittsburgh team at home. Pittsburgh's another place where it's just weird to play at. I got to go there for my buddy's bachelor party, and that was our trip was to watch Tennessee play Pittsburgh, and it was just weird. That's a weird place. More power to them. Very historic, and it was super cool to be there. But yeah, you don't win there, not easily. And no offense, but a guy like Kyle McCord who wants to leave Ohio State. I just don't think he's ready for what feels to be like a sleeper. So, next one I think I had was it Boise State. Yeah. So
now you had this one money line, but they're only a 2.5 point favorite.
Same thing as it moved. This one was I think 3.5.
No, it's 2.5.
Oh yeah, money line. So this is the same deal. Why would you give a field goal? UNLV is playing some good ball right now. Their offensive production is fine, but they're bipolar. Defensively, they're giving up a ton of yards.
Yeah, but you know that this is UNLV, not UNILV, right? Because this could be a good game.
This is the one I really could care less on.
He's talking about the whole quarterback situation, him sitting out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, didn't get enough money, man.
I'm sorry. I just can't imagine this team stopping that running back, dude. He's gonna rush for like 7 yards a carry, and it's gonna be a 10-3 game, or it'll be 9-10 because there's somehow a safety thrown in there, or it could be 45-42. Who knows?
Yeah, this is a game kind of like the Tennessee-Alabama game where I can see a situation where they absolutely just barn burner another 2022 game, or this could be just knockout, drag out, low scoring game.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Boise State is a lot more equipped to do so just with run production. I think you're starting to value run production wherever you can find it. If it's at the quarterback spot, if it's an extension of the run game, as my boss Reed Bryant likes to say, with these quarterbacks throwing out the screen passes behind the line of scrimmage. So you got to get creative at some point. Another thing too is Boise State's coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you give time for Genty to kind of just rest. That man will sacrifice his body.
I get it. But are we really going to act like Dylan Sampson isn't like in the conversation for being the best back in the like? Are we just going to give it to this guy because he's blown up?
You give it to this guy. He's a one cut back. He's disgusting. He's a one cut back. He's Maurice Jones-Drew, but bigger, longer, a little bit quicker. Elusiveness, balance is better. This guy's
so
insane.
You don't care about.
He's a first round pick.
Because everybody thought it was because Dylan Sampson ain't playing nobody, but then they would literally go and play Alabama, and he does the same.
The issue is he is playing everybody, and Genty might not have the same type of production, but he's having production. It's the same.
No, Genty has more production, but I feel like he's playing less. I don't know. I just
think about with Biletnikoff and Hyatt. It's almost the same because I would argue.
No, it's not. Hyatt plays the best schedule in America.
But do you think he was better than Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yes, 100%.
No.
Dude, the Big Ten only had like 3 teams, bro. Dude, I will go. More. No, I will eat your lunch, bro.
Was it Hendon Hooker or was it? Hey, man, it takes a team to win championships, man. If I got to get the championship having the best wide receiver, I'm going to take it. I'm going to win. Whatever I'm doing, I'm winning at that position. That was a good way for me to get out of that, man. I don't know. I'm not an offensive man. You're trying to catch me in some word salad.
You
got to BYU, UCF.
Like I'm in here trying to recruit a new guy on the show, and then like you just immediately lost your whole resume right there. Like I'm just like, whatever. You know what? Get back to your picks here, boys. What's the next one?
Look, I will say this going back to Dylan Sampson. I do think he should be in the running, but I also agree with Jake. It's Ashton Janky's to lose at this point.
He just has to go out there and play and not get hurt.
Yep.
They are not even like they. Y'all say that he's probably going to win the Heisman, and then literally the first game of the playoff, he's going to get held for 30 yards, and like I don't know. Like
if he rushes for 300 yards on Saturday, man, it's over. Just go ahead and give him the trophy. I'm serious. He could go for 80, 74.
Oh crap! I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. That's like saying because I play on Ohio State and I'm like, playing the easiest teams in the nation.
Let me go back to my notes so I can sound more like I know what I'm talking about. Here, one moment. I got them all. I got dual notes for you here, Skylar. It is great for today.
Let me go play on Austin Peay. So
UNLV
play Division I, and let me go run for 500 yards a game, and I'm just gonna be a Heisman Trophy winner because I'm the best. So. I don't know. I just don't agree with it.
I think that the Kai from Colorado should win the Heisman, but that's another story for another week.
Just because he plays both sides of the ball?
Yes. Not just because.
See, because I feel like
his production on both sides of the ball.
No, because I feel like there's a lot of athletes that could do that. Their coaches won't allow them to do that.
That's fair too.
What's the Heisman? Let me read the definition of the Heisman real quick.
No, there is no definition. It is popularity contest.
For
popularity contest.
Awarded annually to the top player in college football.
You're over 30 minutes.
I'm loving this content right now. I'm just saying. So.
Came here for blood.
Dad done said Jake for president. How? I don't understand.
I love you, Jeremy.
Me and Dad agree on everything, so I'm not sure where the disconnect is here. You
got to play within the parameters, man. You got to play within the parameters.
Finally, a pick I can vibe with.
But look, all right, this line has moved from BYU plus 1.5 to BYU minus 1.5.
Really?
Yes.
Skylar,
look,
we just disagree on everything. I felt bad about this pick because I saw what UCF's doing. BYU is also barely scrapping by too.
but all they're doing is winning, man. I have made money on BYU this year because all they're doing is winning.
That is y'all. That is y'all from the start of the season. I've tapped into BYU. I mean, they have been fun to watch.
We did lead you into that, didn't we? That is fair. Yeah, I'll take that credit. Thank you.
Hey, look, you know, give credit where
You
credit's
know who's not been betting on BYU this whole time?
That's how it goes. Yeah, I've been betting on my own bet.
I did, and that's how I originally got the lead in the upset pick of the week this year. So
we doing money line, or are we taking the 1.5?
So I added the money line part of it because at the time it was plus 1.5. So I was adding the money line there too.
It's just more money. I honestly, if BYU is going to win, they're going to win by 2. If you want to say they win by 1, I just don't see teams that are playing like that to miss an extra point or get a safe. I mean, is there going to be a safety in this game? Probably not. Both teams are running the ball pretty substantially well. I mean, they're both getting good first and second down production. So again, it's just the only thing is it's at UCF, but UCF is slipping, man. I mean, Gus Malzahn's, I guess, starting to get figured out. If you come to my office, you will see a huge game plan book of Auburn. When?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's like this big for 1 week.
Yeah. You gave it to me like I knew what to do with it, and I was like,
just numbers and lines and stats, man. It's nothing. It's nothing, but until it does, until you've been in the game for a while, and I think that's exactly what's kind of going on as people have picked up as the evolution of what are we calling? Is it fastball? Is what Saban's calling it now? So, you know, as the evolution of fastball came out, that had some indoctrination within, Gus's side of things, using it with multiple personnel, transfers over to Heupel. I mean, it all goes all over the place. So I think BYU shouldn't have a problem with UCF. I think that, RJ Harvey and KJ Jefferson are still 2 really, really, really good tandem guys to have in a backfield. So I'll never want to sit here and say that they won't be 1 point away from winning a ball game. So that one's a tough one. And then, I'm going to have to call out this one. This one's a kind of a callback to last week. We lost that. We thought Michigan was great, man. I thought that D-line for Michigan was just going to get it done. And we know that they're good. We know that, it starts with a run. Maybe I'm too hard on run production. But here's the deal. Luke, if you're listening, which I'm sure he's not, he probably doesn't remember me from Adam. But I'm sorry for calling you out like that, man. I mean, you didn't have to do much. I mean,
Luke Altmaier looks good.
Gosh, man. I mean,
for people that don't know, that's the quarterback for Illinois, I believe.
Yep.
Unreal. I mean, he's doing what you would hope a guy would do at a younger age. They're doing a lot of what they did to not Nico, but a lot of.
Was he not a transfer from another team?
Yeah, he's out of my backyard. Yeah. Yeah, he came out of he came out of Ole Miss.
I just wanted to.
I could be wrong.
Wait. What was he the one that was at Oklahoma State and sat behind Jackson Dart and no, never mind. That was Spencer Sanders. My bad.
So Luke, I'm almost positive he went to Ole Miss. I'm almost positive. Yeah, he went to Ole Miss. He was at Starkville. Y'all making me second guess myself, man.
Well, I was just
asking.
I was so confused.
I was thinking about Spencer Sanders, who started at Oklahoma State and then transferred to Ole Miss. He was expecting to get the starting job, and then Jackson Dart beat him out. So that's what I was thinking of.
I mean, you got guys.
Everybody thinks the transfer portal is all sunshine and rainbows, and then
yeah,
situation like that.
Situationship, man. Yeah, who said it best? I don't want to call a name, but this is a prolific this is an offensive coordinator. I'll give y'all some hints. He has been the OC at Georgia before, and he's been the OC at another SEC school. And I got some time in the car with him. I'm not going to name his name, but he said that recruiting quarterbacks is like having a bunch of girlfriends at the same time. He said you just got to tell them what they think. No, surprisingly not. And it is not a guy who has the right to say this either. No offense to his looks. But yeah, man, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you off the show.
Okay.
I was feeling really good with that pick, though. He frees off.
Dude,
feeling solid with that one.
It blows my mind, man. You have to keep your quarterbacks like they are your fiance. Like you
OC it.
Promise them the world.
Yeah.
And give them nothing. And that's what's going on. That's the scary part. Now, here's what's going on is a guy who's been in it, and that's great. Easily to talk about, back quickly on Oregon. Luke threw out 80 on 18 attempts versus Michigan. They still get it done. There's no way that's going to be a 22-point blowout. Oregon can barely get it done against Boise State. And I think that the run game with Illinois is still getting substantial. So that's all I got on that. And then this LSU A&M, man, I have no idea. I really think that what's going on is Nussmeier is doing what, quarterbacks that want to push that championship run do. And it really depends on if Nussmeier is all that he's been doing. If he stays that consistency and he's pushing full steam ahead and his defense is behind him. Man, A&M is a little bit tested. I just don't know how you can compete week to week as a first-year guy, first-year head seat, and get it done against a tenured guy, as such a tenured guy that is fresh each and every time he obtains a new team. So I just think it's interesting. I think this game is going to be one where you're going to see really the men from the boys. A&M, they have a lot of good players. They've got guys who have a high floor, but maybe a lower ceiling just because they've already got it all from where they grew up in their backyard. Man, Louisiana, you got guys that are hungry to learn, are hungry to feed, hungry to prove something. This ain't Texas. This is A&M. So I take LSU. Hey, no offense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, guys, that is Raking with Jake. Just running through his picks again. We do have Pittsburgh money line. We have got Boise State money line. We've got BYU plus 1.5. Like we said, that is moved to minus 1.5. So that's why you gotta try to get on it whenever we do this. And as you can see from the time that Jake sent it to us earlier to now, it's already moved. Also got Illinois that is plus 21.5. And then LSU money line. And don't forget, if you do have a gambling problem, call the hotline. It is 1-800-889-9789. Do not bet any money that you don't have. Always gamble responsibly.
So back to the chat box here.
I'm reading it right now. I didn't realize all this was going off.
He wants to know who it is that we're talking about here, that offensive coordinator.
Absolutely not. I plead the fifth.
I mean, he's wanting to know that. And then secondly, when you said this ain't Texas, he said, all right, Beyonce.
Hey, man, I'm just calling it like I see it. There's no way Texas A&M can get it done, man. I mean, they are so scared of the real Texas school joining the SEC. They got more problems to worry about. They didn't expect to be in this situation. No way.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this comment right here? Recount with Jake next show?
No, because I can't count on him being on at the freaking right time. I mean, he's had a countdown like 3 times. And
when do you need me? When do you need me on next week? We got an official time, that slot that you need me on.
I mean, I'm hoping I'm back in my studio next week. It's been a kind of wild, like 3 weeks here because I've been on a boat like more than I've been in my house. So, we typically go live 3 o'clock Eastern, but it's whatever. It's fine.
Yep.
You might want to do
we
it.
Might have to do it. Might have to do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey,
we'll work on schedule.
Free. I am free next week.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you the spot. If you can tell us who you were talking about.
Oh, absolutely. You'll have to find out next week.
This guy's a classic, bro. He's born for this, dude.
Love it, man.
Yeah. You got to be careful with that headset, though. Honestly, if you take your headset out, you're gonna have like a dent up there.
So it's there. You want to see it?
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Jake, as always, we appreciate you. Breaking with Jake, 22-8 on the season. Sorry it took us a long time to get through those picks. We had a lot to talk about, and me and Jake are really good friends in real life as well. So we're sorry that we couldn't stay on task there. But guys, bet responsibly for sure. Do not parlay those picks. Because if you miss one, you miss all. So make sure you're betting those separately. And like Michael mentioned, only bet what you can afford to lose. So Jake, thank you so much, brother. You got anything in closing in that third Saturday in October, dude?
Absolutely. Don't ever parlay all mine together. They've not hit all season. So But absolutely bet them individually. You'll probably be all right.
You'll end up making money. So
no, whoa, yeah, not maybe. We're you never know.
They started from the beginning with us. They are up quite a bit.
Well, those are the real ones. We appreciate them, but we gotta appreciate the people coming into.
Do it with.
Oh gosh, I mean, I hate it.
You're
welcome. I don't know it for a lot of people, so
I appreciate that.
All right, well, this is a little
too late
for my liking. I think this is going to go from PG to PG-13, so I think it's my turn.
Whoa, man! All right, that's a good time to send him on his way, and we're going to close out the show.
Jake, we appreciate you, man. So I do have one thing or technically two things in closing. So one, if you didn't get to check it out, preseason NBA basketball, Dalton Connect, man, went off this past week. He had 35 points in a game and scored 20 straight, including
13 at the 3-point line.
Yeah, dude was unconscious.
Got it in the veins, brother. He's got it in the veins.
Yeah,
it's not really a surprising thing, honestly, in my opinion. I mean,
no, all Twitter was just like, I mean, we've been telling you guys for a year that he's a professional level scorer.
Bro went like 18th over 16 teams pass on this guy. It makes no sense. And I'm glad to see him doing great. Even my dad, who honestly couldn't give a crap's rat ends on basketball, knows that he scored 20 points in a row because that's how big a news it was on Rocky Top. If you don't think we don't support our players after they go pro, you're literally drunk. Like seriously, like we follow our guys. VFL's forever, dude.
Yeah, but speaking of basketball, there is a reason I'm wearing my Jemai Meshack jersey tonight. Tennessee football does not have a game this weekend, but next Sunday, I'm not sure if it's before or after we go live, Tennessee basketball has their charity exhibition game against Indiana. Really excited to see the new look Vols. Want to see what Chaz Lanier can do. I've heard a lot of good things about Jemai Meshack this year. Apparently, he's our most consistent outside shooter
dude,
through the summer.
Give me JP Estrella.
Yes.
Talking on everybody. Give me all of that. Give me all of it. But that's about all the basketball talk I'm going to do.
Oh, exactly.
We just beat Bama and Thursday during October, and we're going into the bye week 6-1, ranked 7th in the nation, and who knows, maybe we can get some upsets and move up in the bye week, because we tend to move up on bye weeks more than you move up on wins. If you're Tennessee, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I mean we're not really moving one way or the other, but everybody else is losing or winning in front of us. So
hey, I'm totally okay with it. It's been a great week, Michael. Dude, thank you for the show tonight. You did an amazing job kind of producing this thing because I'm mobile. I'm on my iPad, but you have not batted an eye being able to make it work. So I appreciate you. Appreciate the chat as we still have almost 10 people watching on Facebook alone. Thank you guys for being so lively. I mean, this is dang near a 2-hour show, and we appreciate you for being tuned in and engaged the entire time.
Yeah,
I've not had the YouTube numbers up, but Michael, you probably have that. But just been an awesome show with everybody, and we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah, and one last thing, guys, tune in next week because we might have an announcement to make next week, and it's one that we've been working on for a little while. We're gonna see. It might have to be pushed back a week, but hopefully next week we'll have an announcement to make. Exciting thing for the show. So,
it is. Bro, you caught me off guard.
I told you about it before the show. So real quick, want to put this comment on here. So, I'm guessing this is
whatever.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this is my mom that comments this in. Best part of yesterday was my niece yelling interception at the end of the game. So,
this was Laura.
Oh, that was Laura. Okay. That's my sister that put it in there.
There it is.
Yeah, so my niece was yelling interception at the end of the game. So
by Will Brooks, of all people.
Yep.
Ice in
Great.
the veins.
Great
Zach
things,
Holder
man.
comes in and says, "Go big, Orange." Guys, it's been another great show. We appreciate you. We don't give a dang about the whole state of Alabama, baby.